The Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the 7 ancient wonders of the world, and actually the biggest monument ever created on Earth until the erection of the Eiffel Tower in the 19th century in Paris. Was it really just a casual tomb for some pharaoh, or maybe the case was completely different? As we'll see in this episode, the precision and the exact alignment of the Great Pyramid of Giza proves the case to be completely different. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Alexander. In this episode we shall talk about the precision in the Great Pyramid of Giza. And we think of the Great Pyramid of Giza as some casual tomb and monument built by the ancient Egyptians who used some primitive tools. But actually the precision which I will show you in this episode proves the case to be completely different. And let's start with the dimensions of the Great Pyramid itself. And when we compare the sides of the pyramids, it is actually evident that it was not just a casual tomb, because as we see from the exact dimensions, the western side is 230 meters and 14.7 centimeters long. The northern is 230 meters and 13.6 centimeters long. The eastern side is 230 meters and 15 centimeters long, and the southern side is 230 and 40 meters and 45 centimeters long. As we see, those sides are actually equal, and the discrepancy is just in centimeters. And in the case of the Great Pyramid, which is actually enormous, those centimeters and those error in those centimeters is actually not a big deal. And we see that these dimensions of the base are very exact and very precisely done. And it's interesting because the Great Pyramid of Giza wasn't built on the plain side where we could actually detect and measure the entire dimensions of the base, but the Great Pyramid of Giza was built on a little mound which was just about 2 congregations in height. So on this terrain it would be extremely hard to actually create such a monument which sides were equal to that decimal place. It would be very hard, but it doesn't stop that, because this base of the Great Pyramid is aligned to the true north of our planet, and true north is not the it is the northernmost part of our planet when the meridians converge, and not the magnetic north when the compass is projecting. And this true north is the northernmost point on our planet, and this is where these meridians converge. And actually Great Pyramid is aligned to the true north with the margin of error of 0.015%. So it is not a 1%, not 0.10%, but actually 0.015%. So as we see, it is precisely and almost exactly aligned to the true north, which actually couldn't be done by some primitive tools. The builders of the Giza Pyramid must have used some advanced methods to actually tell where the true north is, and as we'll see in a moment, they would also need the information about our entire planet, because as was proved by the Astronomer Royal for Scotland, Charles Piazzi Smith, in his book Our Inheritance in the Great Pyramid, Charles Piazzi Smith showed that the Great Pyramid of Giza is aligned exactly in the center of the Earth's landmass, meaning that the longitude and the latitude of the Great Pyramid of Giza will intersect the biggest land area on our planet. And it is Actually, it is easy to find out if it is true. Just go to some other locations and find by the latitude and by longitude if this place and if this longitude and latitude lines actually intersect more area. And up till now, no one actually proved the case to be different, and this is the fact that the Great Pyramid of Giza is located in the center of the S landmass, meaning that the latitude and longitude lines, and also sometimes the 8 lines like this, and as we see in this picture, intersect the most area of our planet, the most land area. So as we see, the builders of the pyramid must have been much more advanced than it is projected by modern Egyptologists, because according to the known sources, ancient Egyptians were, let's say, primitive in this case, because they knew very primitive maths and actually believed the earth is flat. So how could they actually know about all those lands, and how are they, let's say, diverted in our planet? So as we see, the builders of the Great Pyramid must have possessed some advanced knowledge about the entire globe, about the lands, about the true north, about the meridian and longitude latitude system, and also were very precise, as we saw with these base dimensions of the Great Pyramid. But it doesn't stop there, because Giza Plateau and the location of the Giza Pyramids is actually in the one third of the entire globe, because its location is very close to be 30 degrees, and the exact location is actually 29 degrees 58 minutes and 1 second, which actually is very close to this 1/3 of the Earth's dimension, to this 30 degrees. But as was shown by Charles P. Smith, this is not a coincidence and not a misalignment of our ancient ancestors, because the refraction of the light that is hitting our Earth can actually make that discrepancy of, let's say, this not 1 degree but less than 1 degree. So our ancient ancestors could really wanted to place the Giza pyramids in the 1/3 of the Earth's dimensions. But because of the refraction of light, they just misaligned it a little bit to these coordinates of 29 degrees. It is also interesting that when we measure the base of the Great Pyramid and the height of the Great Pyramid, and when we multiply those measures by 43,200, we got the exact dimensions of the Northern Hemisphere. It is very interesting because, as I've mentioned in my other videos and as I've shown in my first book, Déjà Vu Has Everything Already Been, which will be very soon available on Amazon in English, because now it is in Polish because I'm from Poland and I first published it in Polish. So these dimensions of the Northern Hemisphere are clearly embedded in the Great Pyramid of Giza, and this is not a coincidence, because when we see this error of measurement, which I calculated here, it is less than 1%. It is actually about half and 0.48%. So as we see, this is not a coincidence, and also some skeptics may say that this number 43,200 is a coincidence, but it isn't, because as the Great Pyramid of Giza is a model of the Northern Hemisphere of the Earth, the 43,200 is the number of seconds in half a day, so during the 12 hours. And as we see, this half of the planet is reflected in this half of the day of the seconds. So as we see, this is not a coincidence, and as we see, this space and this time are actually correlated with each other and show us that the Great Pyramid of Giza was specifically built as to hide the dimensions of the Earth, which is also in accordance with various ancient texts. For example, in the Arab Chronicles, we've got information that the pyramids were built to possess the pre-Delven knowledge, because King Surit was dreaming about the incoming great cataclysm, the Great Flood. And about 300 years before this flood occurred, he built the pyramids, and he had hidden the some prehistoric pre-Diluvian knowledge, and I am talking about this matter in my other videos and also in my book. Also, if you're interested in the alignment of the Giza pyramids themselves, I've recently published a small little guide, but very comprehensive guide about the alignment of the Giza pyramids. It's about 50 pages long, but it is full of not only footnotes by bibliography and many other references, but also it is full of illustrations which can show you the matter, and because of that illustration you can understand it much better. Also, I've mentioned some, for example, myths, tales and legends about these hidden dimensions of the earth in the Great Pyramid, which proves that this is not a coincidence, as I mentioned in this video. So if you're interested, don't forget to check out this little guide, this little book. It is very cheap, it is short, but as I mentioned, it is comprehensive. So that would be all for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, don't forget to subscribe to my channel in order to get informed about the English version of my book, about my other shorter books and shorter guides, and also about new episodes in which I show you the different perspective and the alternative history of the very ancient or even prehistoric past. That would be all for today. Thank you, and till the next video. Have a nice day.